Priceless Realty. Hopefully enjoying the videos I'm doing on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe it. I thought I'd talk about my five favorite restaurants in Cape Coral. This is going to be predominantly in the southeast area, which is where I live. We actually do have quite a lot of restaurants in this area, mainly on Southeast 47th, which I'll highlight in some of the areas as well. When I first moved to Cape Coral over 20 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot in the way of restaurants. I know we used to, when we would go eat out, be at Perkins of all places, and they took forever to make food. You go eat there, my wife and my son will probably wait 35-40 minutes just to get food, and we wonder what the heck they were doing with it. But at the time there wasn't much to choose from, and back in those days too, I think we had a general feeling that the mom and pop ones were the sort of places you stay away from. You go and deal more with the chains, but that has now changed. I don't particularly like the big chain ones. I like more of the mom and pop. Some of these restaurants have been around for a while. One has been here for quite some time. I like a variety of different foods. Being from England, I like Indian, Thai, Chinese, American. I like basically everything. I just like to try different varieties. One thing about Cape Coral is we do have a big variety of restaurants in this area that we may not have had years ago, and there are probably hundreds of restaurants around here and all over different parts of the Cape, and you personally may feel that some others are better and you're more inclined to go. But let me just talk about what I like personally, and you may not agree with this, but my first option, I like Indian food, would be to go to Masala Mantra right here. This is on Del Prado Boulevard, right between 46th and 44th. It's in a bit of a strip mall. It's not much to look at. They do have a fair number of tables. There is not a whole lot of parking in there, so sometimes that can be a bit of an issue, but it is a really good Indian restaurant. Now, typically when I was looking for Indian food, I generally go up to Orlando because there's a wide variety of Indian restaurants there, or if I went over to the East Coast, over to Miami, I would find something. So a couple of years ago, probably 5 years ago now, maybe more, this restaurant came in called Masala Mantra. I've actually got to know the name of the owner, Sudev, and his wife Elizabeth, actually to help them buy a property in Cape Coral, and they also have another restaurant up in the Jacksonville area as well. But if you want to try really good Indian food, this is as good as you're going to find it. I told a lot of different people as well who travel over the world, and they said this is really high quality. One of the more common things on the menu that I like is tikka masala. Tikka masala, though, interestingly, is not a real Indian dish. It is more of a British kind of one they came up with years ago, and within England that is the most eaten dish in the entire country, is a tikka masala. You can get it mild, medium, hot. I like things hot, though in the last year or so I've toned it down to more in the medium range. I like it with lamb, which is good. So, but again, they give you some variety in there as well. But as you can see right here, it has a pretty good rating. We do have a website as well. The menu is quite a variety one. A lot of the curries I like. I said this is tikka masala right here. I like their Rogan Josh, that was really good. Again on the lamb, Madras is good, jalfrezi, korma, lamb kadai. There isn't really anything on here that I wouldn't recommend. Obviously everybody's a little bit different as to what they go after. My wife tends to go with some other dishes more along the vegetarian side as well. Now the one thing they are really good at too is tandoori. They do a really good tandoori mix. Let's see if I can see that on here. But tandoori is, as it mentions here, done on a clay oven on there, and it will make your fingers red when you eat it. But it's a really good. It's got a nice taste to it, a good feel to it. The one thing we like to get is their mixed grill, which the mixed grill right here runs about $30, but it's quite a lot of food in here. The one thing we like too is if I go to a restaurant, sometimes I'll judge it not just by the quality and do I enjoy it, but can I get another meal out of it? And often I can get another meal out of the Indian. I can do that without any issues at all. Masala Mantra, the special grill, we can use that over a couple of days and add some other stuff to it. But it has chicken in it, has lamb in it, it has some other things in it as well. But that, if you want to try tandoori, if you like Indian is too spicy, it doesn't have to be spicy, but if you want to try something a bit different, I would recommend the tandoori specialty. Is a good area to go and try with. So that will be my first one. So if we go back and move across the street, one of the older restaurants that we've had here in the area is Siam Hut. This restaurant's been around forever. It probably may even date back to the 1970s. It's not much to look at on the inside. It's kind of dated, but it's generally fairly busy. Again, it's in a strip mall. It can be a little bit busy trying to find a parking spot at times. Because we live relatively close to these areas, oftentimes we will get a carry out and just eat it at home. Because I live about 5 minutes away from these locations. But on occasions we do eat in there, but we don't tend to do that very often. But if I do order out, I'll always leave a tip anyway. Particularly through COVID, I'm one of these guys to survive. So I always left a tip, and I'll continue to do that because they do good quality food. I want to see them stick around. One of the things Siam Hut has, again, is, let's see, we pull the menu right here. I like the sriracha fried rice. It's you can get again in mild, medium, hot. I was, like I said 2 years ago, I get it hot. Now I tend to get it more on the medium range. I can get 2 meals out of that without too much trouble, but it's got a good spice to it because obviously it's got chicken, beef, pork, shrimp, squid, imitation crab. So you got a lot of different varieties of meats in it. Sometimes we'll get a red curry, something like that out of there. But I do like their fried rice. And obviously when you really like something, you have a tendency where you go after the same thing repeatedly. So that's where I've always gone after, is the sriracha fried rice. One thing I will tell you, certain times of the year, particularly in late March, around about April, they will generally close down for 2 weeks and you will not be able to get hold of them whatsoever. Obviously, you'll make a phone call, can I order a takeout, whatever, and they don't answer. And you might think they're out of business. They're not. They just close down for 2 weeks. And their phones will just ring and ring. So I've got used to that over the years. But I was in the mood for one last week and they were closed for the vacation. But as I said, if you want a good quality Thai restaurant that's been around a long time, because a lot of restaurants don't last very long, so it's hard to find one that's been around here. This probably, I came here over 20 years ago. This restaurant was here then and may even be older than that. I don't exactly remember how old it is, but that is pretty much right across from Masala Mantra. It's right here, as I said, and there are plenty of other good restaurants in here, but I'm just talking about the top 5 that I like. Are going to be on Southeast 47th. If you like fish, Fish Tails Grill is a really good seafood restaurant here. They've been around for a long time as well. It's also known as Merrick's Seafood by another name. A lot that you can actually buy fresh seafood right over the counter in this place as well. I think they do supply some of the restaurants to it as well. The one thing about this place, it can get really busy, as they pretty much all do, in the winter time. And it can be loud as well. I have a little bit of hearing issues in there, so even with my hearing aids, sometimes the amount of noise that's in there is just, it's quite loud. But they do have outdoor seating, so you can sit outside, you can do that as well, and do have a live band, a guy that will play music there fairly regularly. But I do tend to find sometimes that does still tend to be kind of loud. One of the things we like to get, and it's got a big variety menu on there, but what we tend to get, there's a combination here, the seafood platter. And my wife and I will actually share this. We'll split the meal, get some additional sides to it, but it's got some grouper on it, shrimp, scallops. Sometimes I've ordered this as a carry-out. Again, I'll try and get 2 meals out of it. Not saying you have to do that. I know some people like to eat everything that goes on the plate. I look at an opportunity to eat it over another night and get some other out of that as well. But Fish Tails, again, it has been around a while. They're pretty well known in the area. As you can see, they have really good feedback right in here, so that's pretty good. If you want pizza, Chicago pizza, some people generally say it's hard to get decent pizza in Cape Coral. I mean, if you're from New York, you may be used to a certain style. Chicago pizza is what we like. They've been around for a while as well. We tend to get it on you get it on, not on your traditional crust, but we'll get it on some other, and I'll tell you what that is right here. So sometimes we'll get it on a gluten-free crust or a cauliflower crust. Obviously, we're trying to control what we eat and don't go overboard. It doesn't tend to be a huge pizza, it's a 10-inch one, but we do kind of like get 2 meals out of that as well. So, but generally we'll get some wings and some other stuff. But Chicago pizza is good pizza. They've been around for a while. They did get a number of awards for 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Nothing more recently. Some of that may have been affected by COVID. But if you want pizza, so they've been around since 1987. So this is a well-established restaurant. You can see it inside as well. So this is on Southeast 47th. 47th is one of the main streets in Cape Coral where you will find a lot of restaurants. There's probably 20 plus, maybe more, but there is a lot and a big variety of restaurants in that area as well. The other thing we do like in this area too is Big 8 barbecue. You can sit outside on this one. They do have a website as well. This is a relatively new restaurant. It's probably been here for the last 5 years or so, although sometimes you think, what was 5 years? Been here longer than that. But they do a real nice barbecue. They have a good menu on here. One of the things I like is their Texas beans. Has a bit of spice to it, bit of a kick. As you can tell from the things I've been telling, I like something that has some spice to it. But they do have a good menu, and it's pretty popular with their carry-out as well. They do chili, sausage, smoked wings. If I think about wings, there's a really good wing place as well. Let me throw in here as an extra one, so make that number 6. But again, they've got a big menu. It's really well known, well liked. It does have good feedback as well. But if you like barbecue, that is a good place to go. Another one across the street is, if you like Greek, is the Greek Spot. This obviously is a Greek restaurant. Let me pull this up right here. They have a good rating. They do have a little bit of outdoor seating. There's not a lot of seating available in here, so it can get a little bit tight in there sometimes. So a lot of people tend to do a carry out, so there's not a big area for seating. One of the things I do like is they do a spicy gyro, which is really good. My wife likes one of the salads that they have, but they do have quite a wide variety of typical Greek food in here, and it's not overly expensive either. So that this is quite a good restaurant if you want some variety. So with a relatively short area from what I've shown you, just looking here, we have covered basically Indian, Thai, seafood, and we've got barbecue and Greek. Now we have some good burger places as well, like that you can go to, like Ford's Garage is a good location. Monkey Bar is pretty popular. If you like wings, I'm going to add this as number 6 for my top places to eat in Cape Coral is Wow Wing House. You can see it out on this one as well. This is on the other side of Cape Coral Parkway, but they have a big menu here. The menu is absolutely huge. I mean, this is a big menu. They have, I think, over 100 different flavors here. The one thing about their wings, they're big. They're pretty good size on this. So sometimes you go to a place where they're fairly small. These are big wings. Sometimes I think, where do they get these giant chickens from? Because they're pretty good size. So if you like wings, this is a good area to go to. And so this would be my top 6. In my head, I can think of a lot of others, like Lenny's. If you want burger, Lenny's Burgers. If you want, there's just a lot of choice of restaurants within our area, and there's a lot of really good ones as well. If you like Italian, there's 2 Meatballs, which is on 47th as well. There's some others too in the Cape.
But as you expand out, like Point 57 is another one. There's just a bunch of ones that come into my head, and I'm pretty familiar with all of them. I've eaten all of them. Then there's some other ones. A new one that just came into the Cape as well. Let's see. I wrote down what that was called. That's Hooked Island Grill. That where used to be Big Blue Brewery used to be. There's plenty of parking behind that, and in the John's Plaza, there's plenty of parking there as well for these locations. But that's a good restaurant. They do have one in Fort Myers. They also did have one in Mount Lachey that was destroyed by Hurricane Ian, and they've since moved into Cape Coral. I'm going to do my top 5 seafood restaurants that I like, not just in Cape Coral, but within one in Fort Myers and one in Mount Lachey, which is my favorite. I'll tell you about that on this other video. But I'll give you the 5 that I like, and there are others that come to mind as well. It's just that I could probably go on, probably do an hour or 2 video just about restaurants. But those are the ones that I like. I enjoy eating. Sometimes when I have a customer and looking for a recommendation on a restaurant, I'll find what are you looking for, what are you used to eating, and these are some that I will give them. There isn't a shortage of restaurants here. There's just so many. It's changed a lot over the years, and there's a lot of really good quality restaurants in Cape Coral. But if you have any questions about real estate or about any suggestions for restaurants, places to visit, things to do, I can definitely point that out and tell you what's around the area, because like I said, I've been around here a long time. I do enjoy food, different varieties of it. There are some other parts of the country in Florida that when I go to a particular area, I go after a particular restaurant because I enjoy those. So again, if you have any questions on Cape Coral and the food that's out there, any recommendations, I'd gladly do that for you as well.